Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us. If you haven't met us before, I'm Kay Walsh.
And I'm Jenni Smith.
And we spend a lot of our time working with Quiltfolk, don't we, in our kind of day-to-day lives, where we do a block of the month with them and adventure workshops. So we just wanted to say thank you first of all, because obviously they're going to support us with this book. They've been really helpful and wanting to help us get it out there into the world. So thank you for that. And we're going to spend the next hour chatting about it all with you.
Yeah, we are, and we appreciate that menopause, isn't a subject that has really been out there in the world in relation to sewing. But what we found, the book's been out in the world for just a few weeks now, is that it's really nice to start to have these conversations, because that was our motivation for writing this book, and we'll talk a little bit more about how it all came together. But I just think it's really lovely that people are starting to feel like they can ask questions. That's what we're here for today as well. Ask questions about the projects, but also it's a two-way thing, isn't it? How everyone's feeling, how we can all get through this if it's something that we're going through, or perhaps help other people in our lives who are in that situation. There's about 1 billion menopausal women in the world, isn't there?
Many millions, yeah.
So we're sure that there is somebody in your life, families or friends, who you might be able to help. And as sewers ourselves, we know that the more people that we can bring into this community and to feel welcome, the better.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want to build a community. We want to open these conversations for you to be able to just talk about how you feel as well as how we feel, and just how we can share our experiences and how sewing can definitely help, can't it?
Yes. So in the chat and also in the description here on YouTube below, then you can see there are links. There's a website we're going to be telling you all about, and we're going to do a giveaway as well of the book and our thread collection, and there's links to the Quiltfolk shop as well, so you can buy the book from Quiltfolk and you can buy the thread collection, and if you put them both into your baskets, then there's an automatic discount as well. But yeah, we wanted to take this time today as well to talk a little bit about thread, different thread weights, and how you can use those for the different projects and across other projects as well. So hopefully you'll pick up lots of tips as we go along.
Yeah, so we're going to talk through the projects. We're going to take a really good look at the book in case you haven't seen it yet, or even if you have, we're just going to talk through and see what we've got in there, so that you can get a good idea of what we're trying to share. So we can show you the book. Hopefully you can see that on the overhead, and it's really nice. If you haven't managed to see one yet in real life, it's a hardback. So it's really nice. It feels lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah. And what's this colour blue, Kay?
Oh, well, we love this, don't we? Yes.
Kay Walsh blue.
Kay Walsh blue, Jenni always calls it, because it's like my favourite colour, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I mean, even on the cover, we've got a story, because this came about kind of after we'd started on the book, hadn't it? And we were trying to decide what was going to go on the cover. And when we were talking with our designer at the publishers, Search Press, we talked about how we wanted it to look and how we wanted it to feel inclusive and just joyful.
And not like homework. Like, I think we thought as well, this could be the kind of book that you could gift to somebody who maybe hasn't stitched before as well. And if you put a particular project on the front, again, because there's quilts and garments and there's a mixture in there, we were like, how can you not pigeonhole the book, I suppose, but keep it as well, that there's lots going on in there. So there was kind of a few challenges, weren't there?
Yeah.
And then Rashida Coleman-Hale, who we'll get to, who's one of the guest designers in the book, who you may know as a fabric designer. She was first of all with Cotton and Steel, that then became the Ruby Star Society. Yeah. She put this together, and bar a few tiny tweaks, it was pretty much as it came to us, wasn't it? When her first crack at it, like we'd told her about the book, we had a call with her, and she went away. So there's dressmakers with bolts of bigger fabric,
and the rotary cutter and ruler,
some patchwork, lots of different funky clothes and hairdos going on. So
we absolutely love it, don't we? Like, it's so lovely. So that's a beautiful start for us, wasn't it? That it just looks really cool.
Yes.
So as you get inside, obviously that's us.
Oh, and brain fog.
Oh yeah, this is supposed to look like brain fog, because we definitely suffer with that, don't we?
And it's hot. And we're already hot. I mean, it is coming into springtime here, isn't it? But in our studio we work with big lights so you can see everything. It's quite dark here now, it's evening time.
Yeah.
And we both came in and the first thing we said was, oh, it's a bit hot.
It's a bit hot. But I'm wearing my cool down cover up, which we'll come to, so I'm not feeling too bad actually. So yeah, brain fog, absolutely. And
I guess as well the dedication.
Yes, it says this book is dedicated to all the wonderful women whose friendship, laughter and kindness keep us both sane and supported. We are eternally grateful. And it's true, isn't it? Yeah. Although we did also have another one that we were going to put in, didn't we?
Yeah, we were going to dedicate it to who do you call it and thingamabob, because that's usually how we speak as well. And we can't remember anybody's names, but we weren't sure if everyone would get the joke. But no, some of you people, I'm sure, are those women as well who support us, which
Absolutely.
Is great.
Yeah, thank you. So contents, and there's a little sneak peek here of what's coming up and some of the projects. And then before you even get into that, we've got a foreword by Dr. Hannah Davies, and she is a GP who specialises in menopause. So she's just giving a bit more of a medical kind of perspective, but not overly. Again, it's, you know, just giving a bit of advice and what have you. But we would always say, go and see your GP, go and see your doctor, wouldn't we? If you were feeling like you were at that point where you might want to think about maybe getting HRT or a bit of extra support, then, you know, we're not claiming to be medical professionals, but we have got a foreword in there by a medical professional, and that's really lovely as well, isn't it, what she's got to say.
And I think still very much acknowledging that, you know, to have a passion and a hobby and a craft, working with your hands, you know, is fantastic for your health, and that everyone would encourage people to do that and to find some form of being mindful. And I think people think if they're new to sewing that it's not going to be mindful, but to be honest, a lot of the projects in the book, and you know, we're not saying that there has to be all these skills, and we're building the skills slowly, but a lot of them are based on a simple running stitch, and you know, you can lose your confidence, can't you? From when you've been at school or something like that, but getting back into it at this age is fantastic, because then you can carry it on for all the years. You're never going to run out of projects, I don't think. Are you really?
And I'm looking up because we've got a screen and we can see that you're chatting away, so thank you for that. It's lovely to know where you all are. We always like to know where people are, don't we, when we're on these kind of live things.
Signed book plates, I'm sure we can do that, can't we? We are whizzing off out of town at the weekend for Quiltfolk for a week or so, but when we get back, absolutely.
Yes, we'll definitely get some signed book plates. Yes, definitely, absolutely. Okay, so then on to why we've written this book and why did we write this book, Jenny? I think it's just where we were at in our lives, isn't it? We suddenly realised this was the conversation we were having every day, pretty much. I'm 53.
And I never know how old I am. I'm 48.
I was going to say 47.
No, I am 48 now.
And obviously, I was definitely perimenopausal by my mid-40s and was experiencing quite a lot of symptoms, I think. So
I think you cried quite a lot.
I cried quite a lot, for no reason at all. And just felt all these things that I'd never felt before. And then I think it must have just come onto my radar, and I started reading blogs and what have you, and listening to podcasts and that kind of thing. And then suddenly, I think somewhere at some point, I saw a list of perimenopausal symptoms, which I hadn't ever done before. You think, oh, it's hot flashes, I might get night sweats, that's kind of the main things. But when you see the long list of actual symptoms, I think that really made me stop and think, okay, well, yeah, a lot of those things are the things I'm feeling, but I wouldn't have necessarily known they were perimenopausal symptoms.
No, I think a decline in estrogen has a lot to answer for in terms of affecting your fine motor skills, your mood, your libido, like all these things.
Everything.
It's very much, and that is a medical fact, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was that, and I think I felt, well, you made me an eye mask, didn't you, which will come to the first project in the book, because you'd been struggling sleeping and gave it to me for my birthday, and we started using them, and we were like, oh yeah, this is great, setting that intention to go to sleep, having a better routine and that kind of thing. And then a friend of ours, Heather, had an old vintage blouse that she loved, that she really wanted to, well, it was kind of getting old, wasn't it? She wanted to make a new one. And so we went and looked for some fabrics for her and made kind of a similar thing, didn't we, really? This one isn't in the book, but the point was it was kind of a floaty like top, and all of us that tried it on whilst we were making it, and then friends were all like, oh, this is amazing. Like, you know, it's very, like when you're hot all the time and your body shape's changing and your arms have gone a bit wobbly and all these things. So we kind of nicknamed it the menopause blouse, I think, didn't we? And we just found ourselves thinking of more things that we'd made in the past, or things that we enjoyed doing that we know were mindful. And we did literally then sit down one day, didn't we, and write it out. And you know, I was like, this could be a book.
This and this and this, and it all would help. And
then we could teach people to do zips and sew curves and quilt and dressmake. So it just felt like a good fit. And when we took it to the publishers, so obviously, I mean, we say that as if it's a really easy thing to do as well, but I guess because we wrote the Quilting with Liberty book in 2020 with Lucky Spool, who are a publisher in the US, we'd had some experience at doing that, hadn't we? And they're distributed by Search Press in the UK, which are a big craft publisher, and they'd said to us, you know, if you ever have any more ideas, come along, didn't they?
Yes.
So we did, and they came on the call, and I think it wasn't quite what they were expecting after, you know, we wrote a book about quilting with liberty, now we want to write a book on menopause. But when we explained the mission and why we wanted to do it and everything, it was pretty much an instant, let's do it.
Yeah, they got it, didn't they? Which was lovely, that they understood what we were trying to say and why we were trying to say it. You know, we just, like I said, for us, it's about opening the conversation up, isn't it? And seeing, and if we can bring sewing to people, and I think, like Jenny said, because, you know, well, maybe if you know us from Quiltfolk, you might or might not know that we've always kind of done dressmaking alongside quilting. Obviously, quilting is such a big part of our lives, isn't it? And takes up a lot of our time, and we love that. But I mean, you spent this last weekend, didn't you, doing some dressmaking?
Yeah, I've made a top and a pair of trousers and a jacket from the book, and I love it because I think, again, you can be really individual in what you wear when you can make your own clothes. You can see a fabric, and you know, when you see a fabric that you love, then you need it in your life, and sometimes that goes into a quilt block, but sometimes you want to be able to have it about your person and really show it off, don't you? And so
we wanted it to be that mix, didn't we? Or to bring, this is when we used to going online and doing a lot of, you know, online things, we used to have an in-person studio, didn't we? And we always liked it if we could get quilters dressmaking and dressmakers quilting, and because why not do it all?
Yeah, and also the smaller projects in the book. I think you forget that just a lovely make that you can do for a gift, like when you made me that eye mask.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
No, but it was the loveliest thing, because I know you've taken the time to do that, and it's useful.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's why we wrote the book. And then there's a little chapter, as you can see here, which is just about us and how we met. And you might or might not know, depending on how well you've maybe been along with us all for lots of things. We met tap dancing.
Yeah.
Because why not?
And we were talking, we haven't gone for a couple of years, have we? Because we were busy, and we used to go on Monday nights, and lots of things kept getting in the way. For me, it was kids and cricket and all sorts of things in the summer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we were saying today that we need to
get back and find
our mojo, our dancing mojo.
So there's a little bit about that and how we met and how we've ended up where we are today.
With some embarrassing photos.
Yes, some very old photos, I think, there. Oh, and Jenny always laughs because my hair changes on every one, doesn't it?
Yeah, mine never
Short,
does.
long, mid, whatever, and yours is roughly about the same. Okay, so then we get into materials and tools, and there's lots of information in this chapter. If you've not done a lot of sewing, or even if you have, we think there's, you know, people we know that have sewn and said, oh, I've never really thought about that, or that tip, or what have you, or So we go through fabrics and the different kinds of fabrics, what you might want for different projects.
Yeah, and we deliberately chose the fabrics to encourage people to try out. There are obviously some fabrics that are really suited to being in menopause and are more breathable and comfortable to wear, so we wanted to include those, but we also have included some linen and some heavy upholstery fabrics, and especially if you're just a quilter and you haven't really dealt with those before, there are quite easy tricks, aren't there, in terms of what machine needle to use and what thread to use, that set you up for success from the start.
Absolutely. So fabrics and what have you, and other tools, and we talk about needles, pins, the importance of finding the right needle for your project or what suits you. And again, a lot of it comes down to that, doesn't it? Sometimes it's trial and error with these things, isn't it? If you're doing something like hand sewing, have a go at a few and see what you like, and because what you like and what I like might be slightly different, might they? Or
now I can recognise a few quilty names up there, so let's ask our quilty people to pop in the comments if they're scared of dressmaking or not.
Or do you do both already? Yes, that would be interesting to know. So lots of tips on tools and what you might want to buy, and then we just thought we'd also talk about colour, because it scares people sometimes, doesn't it? Choosing colours, thinking what you might want to use. And I think, again, it boils down most of the time to what do you like, but how do you decide what you like? And so we've given some tips about how you might start to think about what you do like, because you don't always necessarily know, do you?
Well, I think you do know, but you don't trust yourself.
Yeah,
so what we came to the conclusion was that by the time you reach perimenopause or menopause, you will have made a lot of decisions in your life. You will have decorated your home, you'll have dressed yourselves and probably, advised other people on what to wear. You will have picked paintings and interiors that speak to you, and you can use all of that. So you do develop your own sense of style, and no one goes out there saying I'm super brilliant at interiors probably, but you've got that confidence really, and I think you have to channel that, don't you?
Trust yourself and
a few. So this jacket, this fabric.
Yeah, it's a Liberty fabric, and it's a print that Jenny and I both absolutely love, don't we? We're always drawn back to it. And we realised it was because, we like the design, but the colours on it are just amazing, aren't they? So we used it as our inspiration really for the book, didn't we? Of how we would bring the colours of the different projects together and the cover and things like that, because, it just really speaks to us, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily think, oh, I love purple.
No.
Or I love that kind of bubblegum pink. I prefer the cerise pink. But put it together and then next to the yellow and the green, and suddenly it kind of works, doesn't it? So you can do exactly things like that. But I think it's important with all the projects in the book, but generally, is that you pick fabric that you love. Again, you've got to this stage in life, you deserve to work with something that you enjoy, because I think if you end up thinking, oh well, I'm not sure if it'll work out, it's still a commitment of your time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think probably if you don't love the fabric, you haven't got that same impetus to get over the finish line either, have you?
No, or then even love the thing you've created.
Yeah.
And if you've made something out of a fabric you love, you're gonna love it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I think, really, because you've put that time in and you like looking at it because you think, I love that fabric. So use the nice fabric, because again, we all make this mistake, don't we, of just hoarding the nice stuff. It's like not wearing your best clothes, isn't it? And not wear. I've got friends who go, I kind of don't wear my perfume because I want to save it, or.
And I think you're a bit like this. No, but you've got a bit of a stash of fabric, dressmaking fabrics that we built up, but some of them will be from 15 years ago. You don't love them that much anymore.
No,
because your taste changed, but you would probably feel like, oh, it's wasteful, but actually your time isn't wasteful. Upcycle it,
swap it.
Yeah.
You should have swap parties, shouldn't we, where if you've got any friends, you can just go and swap all. Because like you say, I might not love it anymore, but somebody else will, won't they?
Yeah, I think we might have a few questions. Okay. Started with dress. Okay, so Dodie's dressmaking with her grandma.
Oh, that's nice.
Suzanne. I used to dressmake in high school and then made my kids' clothes. Haven't done it for years. So would you call yourself a dressmaker though? I hope so, because then, you know, we've had students and I made my wedding dress, but I can't make clothes. Like, you can. You just lost your confidence a little bit. Okay, sewing clothes since learning in 4H at about 8 years old. Picked up quilting in my 20s when living in the South. That's Janet. Dodie says, I haven't heard of cotton lawn before. Does it have a different name in the US?
Well, and I think someone said it's a Liberty fabric. Well, Liberty do make a lawn cotton, and that's what this is made out of. But other companies also do cotton lawn, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not just a Liberty thing, but it's what Liberty of London are known for. One of the primary things they're known for, isn't it? Is their lawn
because
cotton.
theirs is called Tana lawn. And it originally the cotton came from Lake Tana in East Africa in the 1930s. So it's a very long staple, you know, cotton, like a fine quality, isn't it? Like you get for your fancy bed sheets and things like that. So when you feel it, people will often say it feels like silk. It's not as coarse as standard cotton.
It's a finer weave, isn't it?
And the finish on it as well. So it's really nice and crisp and light to wear, isn't it? And great for dressmaking, but it doesn't get too floppy like viscose and other kind of more unnatural materials.
Yeah, it's still 100% cotton.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. It's
just
sometimes
feels
harder
finer.
to handle if you're new to dressmaking, aren't they? So we did avoid those.
Yeah, but other companies do cotton lawn. It's just not Tana lawn. So Tana lawn is Liberty, but you can get other cotton lawn. I think you just have to kind of have a look around when you're at different companies, but it is available.
Elspeth's here. Hello. I always love your name. It always sounds so great, doesn't it?
So moving on, then there's a chapter about how to use the book and with the difficulty rating that we've given each project and how to do your cutting instructions, etc. And then we get into the projects. And I'm just going to slightly flick. I think you can see at the side, if I do that each chapter's got a different colour. So you can see the different colours on the edges of the pages here. So it's easy to kind of go to a chapter and think, okay, no, it's not in that one because I need to get to the green or the blue or whatever. So that's just a nice little touch. Helpful, isn't it? Trying to be helpful. And also we did think about font size and things, didn't we? That we didn't want anything too small.
Everything's got to be big and clear.
So sleep mask is the first one, and Jenni's already mentioned kind of why we put this in, but also we thought it's a really good starter project for someone who might not have done anything other, any sewing at all even. So if you guys might well be sewers, but if you've got friends who have never sewn anything, it's a really good starter, isn't it? Lots of people made face masks during COVID, so they might have a sewing machine even lying around that they've not used since or dared to kind of do anything else. But so it's a really good following on project from that, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, it's lovely. And honestly, if you haven't tried sleeping in one, then I
cannot live without mine. I get a bit panicky now if it's not there in the bed when I go to bed, because I think, especially when it gets light in the mornings, I don't wake up in that kind of same, like it's only 5 o'clock And you can't scroll on your phone when you're wearing an eye mask. No.
Which again is setting that intention, isn't it, to switch off a little bit and not be looking what everyone else is up to and things like that. She still won't let me keep this on. I keep trying to sneak it out of the studio, but this is a
silk version.
A silk one. So if you wanted to buy a silk eye mask in a fancy shop like Liberty's or somewhere else, it would probably set you back about £50, $60, $70. So really small offcuts you can get often, like in the sale basket, can't you? Ends of bolts, or again, like go into a thrift shop, a charity shop, and pick up a silk scarf, and you could make one out of that as well. Or you can buy the silk scarves come up on eBay and things, don't we? Like, 'cause people don't wear them as much for fashion anymore, do they?
So they are
but
available.
Like, they're kind of cool to do into an eye mask.
This was an offcut from a blouse that I made from a Liberty silk, wasn't it? And I just had a little bit left over, and it was just enough to make one eye mask, not two.
So as we said, in the links below and in the chat, there's links so you can get the book and the thread collection we'll talk about as well from Quiltfolk. But also we have a menopausemakes.com website which has just been launched, and on there is all courses so that you can sew along the projects from the book taught by myself and Kay, and the iVask one is free, so it's almost an hour long. You just have to log in with your email and then you get access to that, and you've got access to it for as long as you want then to watch it as many times. But we talk through every single step, and it's also like how to use fusible interfacing, how to fuse it properly, machine stitch length, threads, needles, everything. So again, you might be quite confident already, but if you know anybody who wants to give sewing a go, then tell them to give that a try and check out the other courses on there as well. So we'll pop that link in as well.
Yeah, you just need the book obviously for the patterns and the fabric quantities and stuff, but then the course is free.
So we have got a nice in our little thread collection. Shall we show?
Yes.
Because I'm just thinking about what threads we've got in here.
Pop that there.
Ooh.
Lovely.
So some 50 weight threads.
Always, I mean, obviously we absolutely love Aurifil, and we've worked with Aurifil for the past 10 years or so. They absolutely are our favourite threads, so we wanted to put together this collection with Aurifil that goes with the book, because that's what we've used in all of the projects in the book. So you can see this is the front, and it's obviously, you know, kind of sits nicely with the book, and then on the back it does tell you the different colours and what you have here, but we can show you them all. So we've got 4 50 weight threads, and we went for, well, some colours that we knew were really good, kind of neutrals. We cannot live without this 2600, the Dove Grey. It goes with everything, doesn't it? It works with multicoloured fabrics. It's just such a handy colour to have, and obviously cream, and this kind of bronzy colour also works as a really lovely neutral, doesn't it? You've used it here.
Yeah, on the other one I made up because that had the little gold accents around the edge. So yeah, it works with a lot of colours. Like there they've used it as the outline, which just proves it can somehow get definition but look nice.
And the yellow as well we used on other projects, and we just really love it. It's a beautiful colour, isn't it?
Yeah, I make quite a lot of silk garments as well, and I would use a 50 weight cotton thread when I'm making that, and lawn cotton, because again, when you've got a fine, lovely, beautiful base cloth, you don't want to put a polyester thread into it.
No,
I had a nice skirt by Rashida Coleman Hale that I made with patch pockets on the front with polyester thread, and I got the pocket, like on the apron as well, like this, which we'll get to. It got stuck on a door handle, and if you'd used a cotton thread, you know, the seam would have gone and you would have been able to repair it, because the polyester's much stronger than the base cloth and would outlive it by a long time, wouldn't it? In terms of decomposing, because of that plastic element. Like, it ripped the entire part. Like my skirt is no longer wearable, so I always prefer to think, you know, you can go in and reinforce with cotton, can't you? You can repair, but you're not going to damage anything.
No, but it is strong as a thread anyway, isn't it? Like,
of course
it absolutely works. And like Jenny said, what's so nice, if you want to really put a cotton into a cotton garment, don't you? Yeah. To have them
match them where you can. You know, factories and, you know, manufactured clothes have a different idea because of the strength and durability or what have you, don't they? And cheapness as well.
I think, But I mean, that's another thing. People think, you know, thread is it is expensive, but the wonderful thing about Aurifil, another reason that we love it and why we were using it before we did start, and when I say we work with them, we're always there helping them out.
Yeah, we're brand,
you know, ambassadors and you know, that's how we kind of, our relationship, isn't it? And we love helping out at Festival of Quilts and all that with them, but we were using it before that, weren't we? Because we absolutely love it. And it might, you know, a lot of people come along and say, oh, it's more expensive than the whatever I buy, but it's not when you actually work out the price per metre, is it? Because even on these small spools you get 200 metres, and that's a lot of cotton, isn't it?
Yeah, and the big ones, like the ones behind us, you get 1200 metres, so you don't have to rewind your bobbin very often because it's finer thread and it lasts loads longer. So that's pretty cool, especially when you're doing patchwork, isn't it?
It is. So that's the 50 weights. We'll come on to some others.
Could you use a silk tie to make a silk eye mask? Janet's asking.
I bet
that's
you
a good idea.
I bet you could unpick it, because actually ties are quite wide, aren't they, when you've unfolded.
And you might even be able to use the, like the interfacing that's in the middle of a tie. You might even be able to repurpose that for your middle.
Yeah, I think you could unpick it all, couldn't you, and flatten it out, and it'd probably be quite a lot of fabric, actually.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
I mean, ties are normally, we've made ties, they're hard, but they're cut on the bias usually, so it might be a bit more stretchy or what have you, but it's only a small piece of fabric.
Once you've interfaced as well,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Good idea, yeah.
That's a challenge for you. You have to do it and send us a photo.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's the eye mask. And then if I'm just going to carry on flicking through the book here, you can see this is our first designer, guest designer, Sally Kelly. So there are 4 different designers that we talk about in the book. And we wanted to just let people know about women designers that we love, and we love their fabrics, and to share that. Because again, I think when we first started sewing, it was more about the fabrics, wasn't it? And you know, what did we love, what did we want to buy, what did we want to make things out of. So again, especially for beginners, if they don't know a lot, we just wanted to share some. So Sally Kelly is the first one, and she used to work for Liberty of London, didn't she, for many years, designing fabrics, and now designs for Wyndham, and she makes absolutely stunning prints, doesn't she? In fact, the eye masks, this one and this one and that one are all
this
Sally.
One's called Celeste, and she does it in different colours, doesn't she, like in the blue as well. So it's it's the moon and the stars, which we thought was appropriate.
So they're all Sally Kelly fabrics, aren't they? And they're lovely, bright and cheerful. Okay, basket for lost things. Need to crack through these projects.
Well, this is so that we could teach people how to sew curves, essentially, and again, how to give structure to something. This would be a good thing for using up small amounts of fabric, but the notion behind it is that if you've made something, again, you're filled with pride, and you also form a bit of a personal attachment to it, so you're more likely to be proud of it, put it somewhere where you know where the basket is. That's step 1. So then when you put your things in it, like your glasses and your keys, then you also know where they are. But it's also a nice handy size for threads. We use, because we've made so many, because it's fun and we've been practicing, we have them in the studio for our fabric scraps, have one by the sewing machine.
They come in handy.
Your pills, you know, your patches for your hormones, all your tablets and things you've got to take.
Do you know what I put in mine the other day at home, because I've got another one at home as well? I'd bought some napkins, you know, and for some reason they were quite narrower than some, and the pack just fits in perfectly. So it's my little napkin basket at the moment.
But again, another quick make, and nice, I think, as a gift.
Really lovely as a gift. And again, and because you don't need a lot of fabric, you can choose something that you really love, or you might have hanging around already in your stash. Quite a lot of you.
My memory loss is getting a little bit worse, isn't it, at the minute? I've got to that point of names and things where you're looking at the thing, and
which I definitely remember.
But also, we'll have filmed something. The boys who are helping us tonight will be testing us this. We'll have filmed something, and then we'll say, when we're filming that, and they're like, we did that last week, Jenny.
Which Jenny always used to say to me, I keep telling you the same thing over and over again. And now she's got to the point, she's now getting, that's where you were, however many years ago. And I couldn't remember the word. I think I forgot the words as simple as a car. You know, it'd be, what's that thing you drive around in, and literally you can't pull the word out of your brain, can you?
Which we're kind of laughing,
but it's so frustrating, isn't it? It's so frustrating.
And I think it can just knock your confidence, especially in social situations or something. When you're not necessarily with your friends.
No, exactly. We laugh about it between ourselves, but it is frustrating. And that's another thing to just note. I think, you know, as much as we want this to be joyous and we want the book to be fun and for you to have fun doing the things, we know the underlying message is that we take menopause really seriously, and for many people it's a really, really hard time, isn't it? And there's lots of reasons why it can make you feel like you lose your confidence, all of that kind of thing. So again, we want, you know, we know that is true, and we want people to feel like they're supported, and if we can all support each other through that, then that's a good thing, isn't it?
Cheryl's saying, some days I feel like I've lost my mind. Maybe I would be able to find it in the basket.
And again, putting things in the wrong place, that's another thing and I still do this. I'll have 2 things in my hand and think one's going to go there and one's going to go there. I'm doing exactly the opposite, putting the wrong thing in the bin or the wrong thing in the fridge. I think I had a bowl and a cup the other morning, and I put the tea bag in my bowl. instead of in my coat. So it's still not
I'm with
quite got there.
Well, we could. I think we're about halfway through.
Yeah.
So why don't we do a giveaway of a book?
Yes, let's do that. Okay, so Quiltfolk are going to be giving away a book and a set of threads, aren't they?
Yeah.
To help us out. So if you want to win the book, we're going to do the book first.
Yeah.
You need to put a comment, and in the chat, if you do !winner, all one word, and everyone puts in if you want to win the book, and then the boys, Chris and James, who are helping us out as per usual, if you're ever here with us for Quiltfolk, they'll then randomly pick a winner. So we'll give people a few minutes, we'll carry on chatting, and if you want to win the book, just do !winner and we'll pick somebody out to send that to.
What's next?
Okay, so also just wanted to show as well on the overhead whilst we're here, hopefully you can see that the illustrations are all really lovely as well. So they kind of look like the fabric. As you can see, it looks like the real thing.
Yeah, which I think if you're a visual learner, is good, isn't it? Oh, yeah. I'm on the wrong thing.
So, well, and then the next designer was Karen Lewis, who designed these fabrics that we used in the Basket for Lost Things. And she is a great friend of ours. She's an English designer and makes, she designs for Andover and also does her own printed panels, which we've used here, which are absolutely lovely as well. So she's another fab designer we just wanted to share. But the next one is low mood. There was the symptom. Another thing that is...
Yeah, I mean, that's probably worth reading, isn't it, there?
Yeah. So hormonal changes during the menopause can affect both your physical and mental health. Feelings of sadness, low mood and depression can begin to take over your general emotional state, and it can be hard to focus on the future or plan something to look forward to. So that's where the bag comes in, because we've called it the weekend away tote, haven't we?
Yeah, that make a bag with the intention of escaping somewhere by yourself or with friends. And
having a bit of me time.
Yeah, I think it's hard sometimes, isn't it? But really, really good for you, even if you just go around the corner and stay out of the way of home for a while or something. But also, we looked at bags that we've made over the years and that we've had in terms of usability, size, comfort, and we think it's a nice way to make a pretty cool statement as well, isn't it? And that you can choose a fabric, or if you're making this for a friend, choose a fabric that you think really suits them, and you can use a heavier weight fabric. So we could teach people how to stitch with more like a canvas or a denim, and the straps on it can look really funky, can't they? Because again, there's so many different kinds of woven straps that you can buy. I mean, we've made there's another one in the book, isn't there?
Yes.
Here, which is like a denim ticking, and because we just kept seeing straps that we wanted to buy.
But as you can see, it's a really good size. Little details that we wanted in there. So the slanted off edges, if I just put it down there, you can see that, because if you've got this coming to a point here, that's where you lose all your bits and bobs in the bottom, isn't it? Or your coins or whatever might have come loose. So we liked that. And then inside, there's a lovely little pocket. There's no fastenings, no zips or anything, but it's got this flap so that everything's safe inside. And we've put a lovely little label on here, hello gorgeous. But we thought this was a great pocket for your tissues, maybe if you're crying, like
happy tears
for having a lovely weekend away, or sad tears because you've got no idea, like I was. But yeah, a really lovely, and again, not a tricky make.
No zips,
not overly time consuming.
No,
it's just really lovely to do, isn't it?
Yeah, that is one of the courses you can take on the menopausemakes.com website. Like we said, the eye masks for free, and then the others have a different price depending on the length of the course and the detail of the tuition and everything. But it's a nice one to sew up. I really enjoy it, and good time, I think, just to talk about 40 weight threads. Yes. Because these are the green spools, and we've put 4 of these into our Menopause Makes collection box. 40 weight is a little bit heavier than 50 weight, and so if you've been used to maybe making garments and things and using an all-purpose thread, a 40 weight will feel quite similar in handle and in the machine. So I think for garments, and maybe like not for silk garments, but for, you know, a regular cotton garment, or for making the bags and things like that, it's the perfect weight. So we've got a nice spectrum of colours again that would really blend. That green's beautiful, isn't it? And then like a denim-y grey and a darker navy, because we love navy's going to crop up somewhere probably in some of the projects. So lots of scope with those. If you're quilters, 40 weight is really nice, not for piecing if you're doing precision piecing, but more for when you want a little bit more of an accent if you're machine quilting, isn't it?
Yeah, you just see the stitches a little bit more because it's heavier, don't you, than a 50 weight. It just gives it a bit more emphasis. So if you want to see your quilting stitches, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, so lots of nice ones as well that
nice ones
go
there.
with those.
Yeah. Okay, so we're then on to symptom number 4, which is dry, itchy skin, which again, I definitely struggled with and probably still am, to be honest. And Jenny always laughs at me anyway, because when we go away travelling, I have quite a lot of toiletries, don't I?
Yeah, one for hair care, one for skin care, one for miscellaneous.
Makeup,
about 4. But this is a good size. We designed it because we wanted to have something that looks nice, whether you've got it, you could move it from the bathroom to the bedroom or when you're going away. But we really wanted to teach people how to fit a zip. And the nice thing about this is that you put the zip in whilst the project is flat, and then you create the 3D shapes, don't you? Yeah. And it's lined as well. And you can make it in a waterproof fabric. There's a little add-on on the course on that, and we mentioned that in the book as well. So then you can, take it in the shower room at the gym or what have you. But this is the Rashida. This is the fabric that we used to make this, to go on the book photo shoot for the designer to say, we love this fabric, who did it? And then for Rashida Coleman-Hale to design the cover. So we're really pleased that we picked this one up.
Yeah, absolutely love that fabric.
It's called Sup Ladies.
Sup Ladies,
and it comes in a few different colours if you can still grab some out there in the world.
Yeah.
It's just really nice and fun, isn't it? And these woven tabs mean that when you want to open and close it, because the zips obviously goes right across the shape, you can hold on to those and do that. Or you can use the selvage, which we show you as well. So you can really personalise it, can't you?
Yeah, it's a lovely thing. Again, a lovely gift or just something for yourself. And yeah, those hormonal changes, which are massive, obviously, during perimenopause or menopause. That's why your skin can change, your hair can change, texture. I mean, lots of people find that, don't they? Suddenly, your hair's a bit frizzier maybe, or drier. Everything can be a bit drier, can't it? So hormones again to blame
Can
for
we
that.
open it up? Yeah. I don't know what we've stuffed inside.
I think some wadding.
Some wadding to make it.
There we go.
The edges. Okay.
But you can see even without it,
it
still stands proud, doesn't it? It doesn't go too floppy because of what's inside.
Yeah, and there's you use interfacing and fusible fleece. Which we explain all about that in the book, to give it that nice structure. Though if you want to use like a laminated cotton and waterproof to do it, then you don't need to have all those layers as well, because that's stiffer by nature.
But you can see it's still standing up as it is, even without anything inside there.
Yeah, and a 40 weight thread, perfect for a project like that, just because it's got a little bit more shape and structure to it, and you're going through quite a lot of layers, aren't you?
Yeah.
Once the fusibles in there.
Definitely. And we do say on each of the projects what needle you might want to use, whether it's machine needle or hand sewing needle, and which thread we would recommend, which weight of thread per project. So all of the information is in each one. And then the next guest designer is Rashida Coleman-Hale, as we've already told you. So that's the same fabric but in the black and cream rather than the pink, isn't it? And a little bit about her there, who, we've already said how much we love her. So
yeah, she's worth following on her social pages as well, and keeping up with what new fabric she's got coming out.
Always lovely.
Shall we do one more and then we'll talk about, say who the giveaway is?
Yes, yep. So log cabin placemats. So the symptom for this is stress, and again, I think this is a symptom that many people feel and struggle with during menopause, isn't it? It's suddenly things can seem more and more overwhelming and all of that.
Yeah,
and
like
lots
even
of
your to-do list at the start of the day can be daunting, I think, to get to it.
Yeah, and we've said before, and I think this is so true, because of the age you're at when you hit perimenopause and menopause, you know, you're in that midlife time, and it's the classic time as well where you might have children. If you have got children, they quite often maybe be teenagers and possibly elderly parents as well. So you're in a real time where there's lots going on often, isn't it, as well? And even if you're not, these again hormonal changes can make everything seem more daunting often, can't it?
Yeah.
So hand sewing we absolutely love for that mindful escapism of just again having a bit of time to do something for yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, and a single one of these would be nice as a quick gift, or you can make them to go around the table. You can position them together as a kind of centerpiece. They could be in your living space, couldn't they, on little small side tables or something like that. This fabric's also by Rashida Coleman Hale, and it's called Speckled, so it's more like one of her blenders in that she's just brought out a whole load of new colours, hasn't she, that we've bought as well for another project, but really, really nice. And then we use the 12 weight, so these are the last two threads in the Aurifil collection, and they're the heaviest weight on spools like this that Aurifil do. So we have done a lot of hand sewing with them, haven't we, over the years, and hand quilting and embroidery as well.
Hand quilting, yeah.
Because you can see the process that we've been to the Aurifil factory, haven't we, in Milan? But the processes that the threads go through and the mercerisation and everything at the end, I mean, you get this lovely sheen on them. But it also means when you're quilting through a layer of wadding or batting in the middle of a project that you don't get that bearding, as it's called, where you get small pieces of the white batting coming up onto the top of your project. It travels through much easier, doesn't it? And therefore it's just really, really pleasurable to do big stitch quilting or smaller stitches, like we just did on these to embellish them.
Embellish them with some 12 weight going across there, haven't we? And it's such a lovely thread, isn't it? I love the 12 weight.
You can also, top tip, you can put it through your machine, so you can load it on the top. You need to have a top stitch or a denim needle that's got a big enough eye to take the thread, but when you do that, you can then do lovely decorative stitching. If you've got a machine with lots of embroidery, it looks like you've been sat doing it by hand for days. It's a real good hack, isn't it? But when you do that, you would want 40 weight in the bobbin, not 12 weight, else your machine will snarl up. So again, if you put something like, put this one in the bottom, that kind of nice neutralish colour, and use these on top. Yeah. Be interesting to have a go with those.
Yeah, lovely. So we love those. You can take it anywhere because it's hand stitching. It's a good portable project, isn't it? I mean, you could absolutely sew them up on the machine if you wanted to, but we like that as a hand sewing project. And if you make 4, obviously you've got lovely placemats for your table. You can go on and make as many as you want.
So a winner,
yes, please, guys, for the book. The winner is Terry Cianciola. Cianciola.
If it's Italian.
Okay.
What
Congratulations,
a good name. Makes
Terry.
Jenni Smith sound very boring.
It does. So, Terry, to claim your book, if you can send your address, please, to Quiltfolk. So it's hello@quiltfolk.com. We'll put that email address in the chat so you can see. But if you want to send an email to Quiltfolk, and we will let them know that's on its way, and give them your address, and the book will be sent out to you.
Suzanne Campion. I remember my mum putting loo roll in the freezer during a menopause moment.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying.
I mean, I haven't done that one yet, but it's early days.
Hello, Suzanne. Okay, right. Brain fog, another symptom that, yes, I think lots of people...
It's behind us.
Have you found it? Yes. And this is, again, due to a decline in estrogen. Great. But brain fog, that, again, like we were saying, that just that feeling of I can't really remember, or I feel a bit fuzzy and not quite who I am. And I think that's what you've said, isn't it, many times, is I think for you, when you started to realise, it was like you just don't feel like yourself, do you?
No.
And that's a hard thing to be feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, and Kay and I have, like, you know, we've talked about this, we've done some menopause podcasts and things that are a bit more medical, like we both have been on HRT, haven't we?
Still am,
and worked on that dosage and getting that right. Again, just because I think that lack of estrogen can really have quite, you know, debilitating effects on your body. And for us personally, that has definitely like helped. Hasn't made everything go away at all, but for me, I was definitely getting really quite anxious, and that.
And you're the least anxious person, I think, normally that I would know. Are you naturally?
If I had reasons to be, you know, but generally I'm quite laid back. So that was something that definitely I felt even within a few weeks that had improved. So I think that's positive, isn't it? So this project really is one that we thought was nice. Like we'd said, you might have children, or we've had, while we were writing the book, children flying the nest and going off to university and leaving home. So this motif of flying geese is quite apt for that. And again, any excuse to teach people some patchwork and the meanings behind the blocks as well. And we wanted to also always make the projects really achievable and also cost effective, didn't we, for people? So this has got an upcycled shirt for the stripes, and how we teach it in the book is 4 at a time flying geese, which means that the stripes come out in opposite orientation. So there's one in the book, and then we just picked a different shirt when we filmed the course on how to make this for the website, and it comes together nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, again, no zip or anything, so it's an easy make but yeah, lovely. And especially if you are using a shirt that means something to you. You know, we used one of your husbands, didn't we, for one of them, and then that's a nice personal thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be not a child leaving home, but just, you know, a nice memory project for someone who's still here or has passed away as well. I've just made 4 quilts for a friend of mine who lost a husband, haven't I? So like projects like that can be the kindest gift in the world that you can give to someone who's having a hard time, can't they?
Yeah. So that's that. So Terry said it is an Italian name. So congratulations, Terry.
We're going to Italy for our next Quiltfolk adventure.
Yes, you're very, very excited.
In 2 days.
Jenny loves Italy. Well, you did spend quite a bit of time there, didn't you?
Yeah, I lived in Italy for a year and did my degree at uni in Italian, so... Yeah.
We're relying on Jenny to get us around and know what we're doing and speak the language. So it's very, very handy. Okay, so the next one is anxiety, and so we've kind of slightly discussed that. And we wanted to make this relaxation blanket because, again, if you can take some time, either just curled up on the sofa watching TV or maybe doing your yoga practice or something. We both try and go to yoga when we can, don't we? And at the end, when you have the relaxation, it's nice to have something over you, isn't it? So lots of uses. And so it's, again, there's patchwork in it, so if you're a quilter or if you're not, it's a good introduction to doing some more patchwork. Different blocks. We've used the shoe fly block. I think you can see on the next page here how that comes together, and then we decided there's a really lovely organic fleece on the back, so it's really snuggly, isn't it?
Yeah, because when we taught in the studio, quite often people would come in making quilts and they'd say, but I want something really cosy on the back. We were like, well, we're not the quilt police, you don't have to do it in a traditional way, so we absolutely encourage that. And Sally Kelly's actually just brought out like a new minky style fabric, which we've got our eye on, haven't we, for another relaxation blanket. And then tying it again so that we could teach people a new skill. It's very tactile. I think if you're relaxing under it, the ties can be quite lovely, can't they? But it's quite quick, so I think if people are daunted at the idea of a quilt, then this would be the project for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's not as time consuming and as much of a commitment, is it, as making a quilt. That you can see on the overhead here, the little ties, and they, like you say, they're just nice and tactile, a bit like a child sometimes have those.
Strokey.
Yeah, exactly. Really nice. Okay, we've got a couple more projects, but shall we do the giveaway shall we now give away the threads?
Go on then.
So I think, are we asking the guys for the same thing?
Oh, will that be confusing?
No, because I think it'll be the new ones. Are you all right with that? Yes. So if you want to win a box of the Aurifil Menopause Makes threads, we're going to do the same thing again. Comment from now again. So this is an Erica new start exclamation point winner, and then we'll pick out a winner for the thread collection.
Yeah,
so
and if you haven't got them and you want to buy them, then go to the Quiltfolk shop, and there is a discount if you put both in your basket.
Yes.
So you can buy the book, even if you've got one yourself, you can buy it for a perimenopausal person that you know. Yeah, our friend Lisa she said all my friends are turning 50, they're all getting your book for the 50th birthday. So,
and I think that's good. We want it to be an introduction, don't we, as well? If you've already sewn, it works. They're nice projects, and we know lots of people who have been sewing for years and said, "Oh, but I really have enjoyed making the basket," or the whatever it might be. But if you know someone that hasn't sewn, we're really hoping it's a good way in for them. So, Butterfingers.
Yeah, low estrogen, fine motor skills, so you drop things quite frequently, knock things over, just feel generally clumsy. It happens, doesn't it?
Does
definitely. And this was a nice opportunity because if you might know, we brought out an independent sewing pattern called the Hepworth apron a few years ago, and we've put this into the book, but we've done all the resizing on all the garments, so they go now from a UK 6 or 8 up to a 28.
Yes,
that's correct. And so that's a 24 in the US as well, and that's the one that I'm wearing. So we've sold hundreds of this pattern over the years, and so we know it's popular because it's a really nice flattering silhouette. It teaches people how to make French seams, patch pockets, and you haven't got that anxiety of fit. Both the garments in the book, we thought, because it might be people's first time dressmaking, we don't want them to worry about that too much. And also we wanted people to learn how to sew with linen.
Yes, yeah, because it's a lovely thing, isn't it? Just to have, whether you want to use it in the kitchen or in the garden. We've got one of our really good friends is an artist, and she uses hers, doesn't she, as a kind of art apron, anything, whatever it is you like doing.
When you're sewing an apron, you don't get loose threads stuck all over. You know, if you're wearing like tracksuit bottoms or something, or a jumper, sometimes you get covered in threads, don't you? So it's also good for that.
Yeah. So you can see in the book here how it looks in full length, but Jenni's modelling it, and yeah, again, obviously every step.
And the full size patterns, are in, aren't they? Should we just show?
We can just flick to the back of the book here, and you can see this just opens up. I'll just carefully do that, and then pop out, and you've got in here the full-size pattern sheets, like Jenni said. The only thing to say is that they are double-sided, so what you will need to do is then just trace off the one that you want, but that's always recommended anyway, because then if you decide you want to use a different size, you haven't cut out the thing and lost the extra sizes, have you?
Or make them for your friends.
Exactly, or whatever it might be. So it's always recommended, we would always say trace it anyway, but they are full size, so there's no taking it to a copy shop to have it made larger or anything. So you get all the pattern sheets inside there.
And we have got on the Menopause Makes website full tutorials for sewing the garments as well. So if you're new to garment making, then you can sew along with us.
And you can see on this one here that we just added the pop of the same fabric of this jacket that I'm wearing. So you can do that on the top band, add a bit more. You could do the same with the pockets, couldn't you?
Do a bit of patchwork.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of ways again to personalise it and make it a lovely thing. Okay, shall we do the giveaway?
No,
we'll do one more, and then guys, we'll do the giveaway after this
Before the last one.
Before the last one. Okay, so symptom number 9. We've already said we're struggling with. Well, we're a bit warm tonight, as Jenni said. So hot flashes is probably the number one symptom that people know about, isn't it?
Yeah, and also it goes on forever, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing about perimenopause, isn't it? It could last 10 years in the lead up to menopause, so a lot of these symptoms can hang around for a long time.
They can stick around for an average of 7 to 10 years.
Brilliant.
And cause real discomfort to people.
Exactly.
So we were thinking, this came about, as we said at the beginning a little bit, we made the blouse that was loose fitting, and then we were like, well, you know, a jacket where we know that you've got light sleeves. It's a flattering shape when your body shape is maybe changing a little bit, and you can wear it with jeans and a t-shirt like Alison's modelling for us in the book. That's our lovely friend Alison, who works in the haberdashery in Liberty, who modelled for us. Or you could wear it on the beach, or you could wear it with like a turtleneck underneath in winter. It's kind of multi-seasonal, isn't it?
Yeah. And we love ours, don't we?
Yeah, we wear them all the time.
Yeah, Jenni's made another one this weekend. In fact, the one on the dummy here is a K facet fabric, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's it's actually an extra wide quilt backing, so it's like a sateen, so it's a little bit silky in one of his big Millefiori prints. And you know, it took me 2 hours or so, 2.5 hours.
That's really not too bad at all.
No,
is it? I know you've made a few. So,
yeah, I've got into the rhythm of it, but there's no zippers, there's no fastenings to worry about, pockets, buttonholes, all those kind of things that I think sometimes just stop you getting over the final finish line with a garment. So it's a really nice.
Yeah, and French seams again, so it's all enclosed and lovely on the inside.
Yeah.
Just before we do the winner then, so our final guest designer in the book is Alice Garrett, or Alice Caroline, as a lot of you will probably know. She has an online website, Alice Caroline, where she sells predominantly Liberty of London fabrics, doesn't she? And she's a great, again, female entrepreneur who's out there in the world, in the quilty sewing world, and yeah, a great advocate for sewing in our age bracket, isn't she?
Yeah, she runs the SOS project every year, a big quilting drive where people make quilts and send them to her, and then they travel abroad or they're within the UK and give them to women and specific projects that really benefit from them. So fantastic.
Okay, we'll do the winner of the threads, and then we've got one more project left, and then we've got through everything, haven't we? So the winner of the threads is Trish Wallace. So congratulations, Trish. So again, if you can, please email to hello@quiltfolk.com and with your address, and we will get the threads sent out to you. So,
and then you have to make something
then you can
and
let
report
us know
back.
what you've made.
Would regular quilting cotton work for the jacket? Yes. There's another one that it's definitely on the Instagram and some of the other interviews we've done online that I've made with a different fabric by Rashida Coleman-Hale, mustard with the ladies on, and you're going to make one.
Yes.
You've got some more of that lined up in it, so we can be matching twinsies but different colours, same fabric. So yes, it will work. And actually I've done one, not really to keep me cool, but I did do it because when we were testing the pattern, I made more in like a light wool fabric in the winter with a bit of a Welsh blanket cut into it, didn't I, when I was experimenting. So it's a really flexible pattern in that respect. Yeah,
we wanted it to be light if you want it to be light, and depending on where you live and the weather and all of that thing, so you can choose your fabric, like Jenni said, just accordingly, but the pattern will work absolutely in a heavier cotton, definitely.
And 40 weight thread for the jacket.
Yes. Okay, so the final project is a quilt project, which
so the blanket and the quilt are here.
Yes. And the symptom for this is night sweats, which again is one that I have definitely had. I'm hoping it's coming to an end. I shouldn't have said that, should I, out loud, touch wood. But again, those hormonal changes, and again, it's uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, you can sweat a lot and it can be really hard once they set in, a night sweat. You know, it's a chemical reaction going on in your body, and you get too hot and therefore you start to sweat in order for your body, you know, to get rid of the of that and to cool itself down. But the resulting of that is that it, you know, you can feel like you need to change the sheets and what have you as well. So our thinking was that obviously if you're sleeping underneath cotton, you can ditch the duvet and make a nice lightweight quilt, can't you?
Yeah.
And those fibres are going to help
keep you cooler, hopefully.
And
we love quilting, so we wanted to have a quilt in there, obviously. And we picked a pattern that we like, an Ohio star and the hourglass blocks, and just it's a joyous thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And we stitched ours up with some Tula pink fabric, so some nice candy stripes and spots. So it was, again, fitting with the vibe of the book, but quite timeless. It's always a challenge when you're writing a book as well, picking fabrics, because you want people, if they want to do exactly what you've got, ideally to be able to get those, but so many fabrics are seasonal. And, you know, you don't want the book to date. We're hoping it's something that's going to have a nice life, isn't it? So where we could, we tried to use classics, champion female designers, and make it colourful along the way.
Yeah, so wool or flannel would be cosy, it would, yes, exactly. And then it's just nice for the different season, isn't it? Okay, so that's all of the projects, and then, but before we go, so at the end we've also got a tips and techniques section. We talk about the anatomy of the fabrics. You can work out what the warp and weft is and what a selvage is and all these kind of things. Again, you know, when you first come to sewing, once you've been doing it a while, you assume you know that knowledge, but you don't know until you know, do you? Or someone's told you, or
no difference between an edge stitch and a top stitch, what stitch length, all those kind of things.
Yes,
and handy.
Yeah, how to do the hand sewing things, about pressing, rotary cutting, what the different, again, I think this was something that blew my mind when I first started quilting. What's a fat quarter? I've never heard of that before.
No.
And we obviously it's just part of our language now, isn't it? But if you're new, so we wanted to have all these tips in there as well. What threads and needles to use, how to do the hand quilting, how to do machine quilting, and measuring yourself for the garments and the different measurements. So,
and don't worry, the sizing on the garments is, you know, if it says it's XXXL or what have you, it's just to correlate, to have so many gradations of the pattern, isn't it? Just take the measurements and go with the one. If in doubt, go up a little bit. So, you know, but they're nice and roomy and everything like that. But don't concentrate on the...
No one cares, do they?
No one cares.
No, and
just make
it's
what's
not
going to fit
you because you've made it, so it's not even in there.
No, and there's
is it?
No standardised fitting. It's so hard now to say a UK 12 is exactly that, you know, because no one gives you the right answers anymore, do you really? So we've tried and tested with lots of people to get it right, haven't we?
Yeah. And then we just talk about adding labels, why you should add a label to your quilts. And there we go. So we've managed to get through, I think, the whole book, and I think we've about finished our time. So I don't think, are we any outstanding questions, guys? No, we're all right. Okay, well, obviously you can contact us anytime anyway. We've got social media, so we are Jenni and Kay Create on Instagram and Facebook. We've also got Menopause Makes Instagram, which we would love for you to come and join with us along there.
And there's a contact form on our website, menopausemakes.com, as well. So whenever you get round to making something, if you do, that's the nicest thing for us. You write a book and you put it out into the world, but when people actually engage with it and make something and share it, it's the best feeling, isn't it? And makes it feel worth the effort. So we hope that you do that, and we're really thankful for you hanging out.
Yeah, it's been lovely. Thanks for being here, and hopefully you will go away and make something nice for yourself or a gift, and just enjoy that time and spread the word. And I think that's the other thing, we just want to keep having this conversation. Let's talk about it, let's talk about how we're feeling and try and support each other, and not feel embarrassed or anything about it. It's just something that's happening to us, and we can get through it all together. Yeah, indeed. So we will be at Festival of Quilts in the UK Walkway in August, beginning of August, and we will be talking about the book more there. And so if you happen to be able to come along, come and talk to us, and we'd love to see you.
And sometime we'll make it with Quiltfolk to America and come and hang out there too, won't
we? So thanks again to Quiltfolk for supporting us, and for everyone for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.